Hello, Strangelings. Welcome back to the parlor. So today I wanted to talk about something I consider one of the most massive flaws in most of our societal systems today. So this massive flaw is something I feel like I've personally touched on, but I didn't do it directly. I didn't say this is what I'm doing this video about, guys. None of that. The biggest flaw, personally, that I believe is in our system that should be actually addressed, and we should actually make sure we are taking note and seeing, is going to be the fact that we are taught as a society that because someone has a lot of money, because they have done things like, for instance, acting or sports or ran a company, then they inherently are less flawed than us. Now, this, of course, comes into play when you, for example, take President Bill Clinton into account. People like him, who he did so much wonders for the economy. He took us out of national debt and gave us the start of a national surplus, which then got taken away by the next guy. We won't go into that. Yet, this is a man so deeply flawed in his sexual thinking that he believed that it would be an appropriate thing to do to take a national, technically owned by the people, building where he worked, and use that also at the same time for his private sexcapades. Now, of course, we know that that kind of thinking is not uncommon amongst executive types. Part of the reason why I have so much trouble having businessmen and lawyers as pretty much all of our representation, but unfortunately it is what it is. We have, of course, religious leaders who were looked at for so long. I'm thinking, I can't remember his first name, Baker. Sorry, guys. Billy Graham. People like that. Who, because we could not see people as we view as some form of leadership, whether it's religious or governmental leadership, for some reason we refuse to see them as flawed so much that Billy Graham soaked so many people out of so many lifetime savings because whatever reason. Even worse, there are evangelists out there who literally told people God said they needed to be able to buy a mansion, and these people handed them hand over fist just dream savings accounts, things that they've been saving up for their whole lives, retirement, a home of their own, things like that, and just, here, God said it, so here, let me give it to you. Because you said God said it, I have to trust that God said it. Because, of course, we have been, as a species, not just here in the States, but as a species, we've been brainwashed to believe that the only way a human being can be a good person is if someone else is ruling over them. And to add insult to injury, these are people with no leadership over them. These are the top of the pyramid. We rely on the idea of a God to sort them out when they're behaving badly. But we've all seen the outcome of that, haven't we? I am not a crook, even though I literally had somebody steal files out of the Democratic Party's headquarters. I am here for all of the people, even though my policies are going to be catered to making sure the poor don't get anything for help. Leaders who do the exact crimes that they jail people for entire lifetimes, if not give them death penalties for. Yet they get a white-collar sentence. And if you guys don't know what a white-collar sentence is, look up the term. I'm sure you'll see it under there. Jail sentence, though. Add jail to it. One of the biggest flaws in our system is that for many, many, many generations now, we have been brainwashed to believe that there are some people in the world who are just so infallible that they deserve to lead the rest of us poor, fallible, sinful mortals. When that's not true at all. And in fact, many studies have shown the truth of the matter is those positions tend to attract those who not only are very fallible, but who are willing to guide you over the edge for their sake, or for their ilk's sake. Either way, it's the same. That is one of the biggest flaws in our system today. Choosing to believe our leaders are infallible, and then selecting people who are amongst the most egregious of sinful people, as they tell us, because, you know, when we're doing it, it's a sin. But they have decided they're above the law. They tend to, because we as humans are not meant to be led by few. We are meant to lead each other. We are all meant to guide each other and help each other. We're not meant to just pick a few people for the highest amount of power, the highest amount of influence, and the largest amount of resource, which is what it ends up being. Now, I didn't really have a point that I'm trying to impress upon you to think about on this one, other than, of course, how fallible the leadership seems to tend to be, how more fallible they seem to become over time. There might be something to that, guys. Perhaps the meritocracy of forcing all candidates to already have a few $1,000 income just to become candidates so that they can prove that they can support themselves while they're in office. Perhaps that was a bad idea. Perhaps it only collects the greedy who have money already so that they can get more. Perhaps it's time to remember that all humans are flawed, and that no human knows enough about the universe to guide a single one of us to being perfect. And that maybe, even if we did, that perfection was always an illusion. Alright, guys. What can I say? I grew up in a world where my brother literally attempted to impress upon me that all humans must be ruled by someone else, because if they're not, they're all going to commit bad acts, including him. Which, of course, seems more like telling on himself than the reality of our world. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I got a bunch of other stuff I need to get done, as always. But, again, as always, just remember, doesn't matter who you are, I love you. Take care of each other, and I will see you guys in the next video.